Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to RSF1's F5 division for the finale of the season. We are here under the floodlights for the day-night race of Abu Dhabi. It is round number 21. It has been a long, sometimes tiring season, but it is not stopped with the entertainment. And what a fitting place to have this conclusion of this amazing season in F5. This is officially, obviously, the last champion to be decided, or champions to be decided. We've got both the drivers and the constructors to finally have a conclusion. I'm RSF1 Rubens, also known as Michael, and I'm by myself for today. Chris has got a little trouble with his voice. Hopefully he gets better soon. So it's me going solo tonight. Hopefully we should have an entertaining race. It's F5. They've always brought the entertainment towards the season, and I'm sure they are not going to disappoint. We have plenty of stuff to happen, of course, on the aftermath of England beating Germany. Yay! I'm so happy for them. It's still not coming home, though. Alright? It's not. So we can calm down now. But yay. Well done, England. They beat Germany. But our focus is purely on this race, as Only Destroyer takes us out for the first time in Q1. An 18-car strong grid. A fantastic turnout once again from F5. They rarely disappoint with the turnout. So fantastic stuff. So we are looking at 3 out in Q1 today. This is fantastic. So everyone out on the soft tyres currently, and we can continue going. So, what do we have here in terms of drivers and the constructors? So, Drivers' Championship, it is down to Andy Yuskin versus Raikkonen. Andy in the Renault versus Raikkonen in the Ferrari. They've been to and fro. They've been battling on track as well through various times this season. Who is going to come out on top? Well, in terms of the points, if I just go over this now. So, Andy Yuskin is on 291, RSF1 Raikkonen 274, 17-point gap. Absolute minimum Raikkonen has to do in this race is second. I'll score him 18 points. If Andy scores 1 point or more, if that happens, then Andy is champion. Andy, minimum, has to be 5th. If he's 4th, he's champion, 3rd champion, 2nd, and so on. He is champion as well. Yes, if Raikkonen wins, Andy has to be minimum 5th to stop him from taking the title. If, however, we are on equal points, because that could happen, Raikkonen will also win, because they're both on the same amount of wins, but Raikkonen has more second places. So on count back, if we get to that situation, Raikkonen is also the champion. So remember that. As we go forward in this race, I'll try and keep things up to date. I'm sure there are people in the chat as well that will keep up to date. We already have an off through turn 2 a Mercedes, I think, or they're just trying to get out of the way of various people, as Kabuki is out on the spot, hit the curb and couldn't control it. Kabuki is the first victim of a massive crash through turn 2. What a shame for him. He's already out in Q1. Wow, excitement already. And we've only just got started. What a shame for Kabuki. You'll be starting from the back of the grid. Yeah, so Andy Yuskin, 291. Raikkonen, 274. Ted First in the Williams is on 225. He is guaranteed 3rd place no matter what. But he'll be keen to end the season in style before he heads to Race of Champions, which I believe he is attending for, because of course we need to look at that as well. In 4th place is Tacticals. There is a slight battle going on here between Tacticals and McCracken, and if you remember last week in Brazil, where McCracken and Tacticals knocked 7 bells out of each other trying to get their position, it was hard racing, but it was fair, just about. They're fighting for the 4th place in the Race of Champions. There is currently 19 points between the pair of them in Tactical's favour. So again, we'll figure that out as well as we go forward. But yeah, there's that going on. McCracken on 164. Then you got Dano and Lincoln in a little battle for 6th place, I believe, 141 points each. Bit of a gap back to Daniel in 8th place with 74. Then it's Destroyer next on 69 points. Hippo is just behind on 65. After that, you got Timmer on 39, Chronic Buds on 38, X-Mando 33, with Stars Orphan on 10, and MT the Mighty on 0 points. The rest are yet to score. Constructors, we have a battle in the Constructors, and it's Renault versus Ferrari yet again in F5. Simply put, Ferrari have to get minimum 10 points. If they score 10 points or more, they are the F5 champions, Raikkonen and Tacticals. Renault, they basically have to go out and get a 1-2 or a double podium and hope Ferrari don't do enough. 35 points the gap, so again, we'll keep an eye on that. You're up to date as we go forward, as a few lap times are popping in. Williams are strongly in 3rd place. Racing Point as well in 4th. They cannot be overhauled in those positions. McLaren in 5th. There's a four-way battle for 6th place. Mercedes, Red Bull, AlphaTauri, Haas. 15 points between all of them, so there's a little battle going on there. And then Alfa Romeo, unfortunately, propping up the rear. But yes, we will keep an eye on those, and we will keep going forward as well. We also have, would you believe it, in our last race of the season, we have a new driver among us. Fruit Boy, who was Noah Batchelor, who was in the chat last week, wanted to take part in the league. This is his first race. This is Noah Batchelor. He's changed his game tag since to Fruit Boy 06. If he gets on the podium, I want to find out what fruit that is. Must be after his personal favourite fruit. We'll find out what that is before some time. But welcome to the league. 36-0 is a solid time from Fruit Boy as well. So here we go. So first impressions are aplenty for him. Let's see if he can get himself embedded into the league. Who is on a lap at the moment? Mando is just about finishing. Is that Chronic on an out lap? It is. Chronic Bud's in the AlphaTauri. Let's take a lap on board with him around this Abu Dhabi circuit. The sun is just about setting in the middle of Q1. We'll get under the floodlights for Q2 going into Q3, and of course the race will start from dusk to night time as it goes through turn 1 and 2. We've already seen Kabuki lose it through there. It's very, very easy to get caught on the curb because the car gets very loose underneath. Then through this left-right chicane, and then hairpin is immediately upon you, so you don't want to accelerate too much before you're turning in. The exit is absolutely crucial because this is a very long back straight. You're going to see a lot of overtaking maneuvers, some slipstream DRS as he heads down into this next chicane, which is a bit off camber as well. You've got to be very very careful of the bumps on the exit this corner. The traction is very easy to lose it, but Chronic has done a very good job there. Now to the second DRS zone, which if you've been overtaken in the first part, you can re-overtake in this one, but the braking zone is very difficult because it's got this triple left, right, left chicane, which of course in 2 years time we're not going to be taking this part because they're making alterations to the track. But he's nicely through there, just calmly through there. Looks like he's putting a lap on the board, is Chronic. Not going 100% here. Got to be very careful of that braking zone there. Could very easily run in deep, and he's just about caught it together. And then underneath the hotel, which is very easy to cut the corners, mind the barrier on the right-hand side. And then the two right-handers, very, very quick, very, very easy to lose the car. Through the last corner, across the line, it's a 35.3, which is a very solid lap. And it's a nice, easy get through Q1 lap, I think, there from Chronic Buds. That should see him safely through. I did see a Ferrari off, but it might have been... yeah, that was Raikkonen just getting out of the way. He's heading out early, wants to get a lap on the board. Andy Yuzgin is already on his second lap. Here he is now. A bit of pressure on Andy Yuzgin. Pressure on both Andy Yuzgin and Raikkonen. But if you remember last season in F5, Andy Yuzgin was having one of his first few races in the league. Actually dominated Abu Dhabi, won by 13 seconds. And that's including a penalty. So he knows his way around here. So definitely one to watch is Andy. But Even though he's going to have his head down, just race as he would do. He will be keeping an eye on Raikkonen, I'm pretty sure, as he comes around the last corner and sets a 34.2, going 0.8 quicker than his teammate. There we go. So he's immediately on it. What can Raikkonen do to respond? Tim on the Racing Point, who was one of the drivers who actually took part in the race in F3 yesterday. Lincoln was another one who just popped up to third. Yeah, a few drivers took their hand into the F3 division. I think Destroyer and Mando were another ones. It was good practice for them, and that could see them to be very good in this race ahead. Timmer nicely through the chicane. Handy driver Timmer. Always in and around the top 10, picking up points when he can. Be good to see him on the grid next season. It'd be good to see all these drivers on the grid next season. Of course, we don't know whether they are returning or not, so as well as obviously seeing who can win the title, it's possibly the last time we get to see these drivers. Of course, I hope they all return back, because it will be wonderful to watch. Timmer pops into 9th at a 36.1. I think Raikkonen's on a lap now, getting a lovely little slipstream from his teammate Tacticals, already using a bit of teamwork as they both go for the championships that are up for grabs. Tacticals already put a 35.5 on the board. Let's see what Raikkonen can do. Nicely through the middle sector. Through the triple left, right, left chicane, just about on the curbs. He's already flirting with the track limits. Evening to Chris in the chat. He's the only one that's actually communicating. Hopefully enjoy the race ahead, Chris. Double left-hander for Raikkonen, swing the car in. You can see the back end of the car wants to always go underneath for you, especially if you chuck the car in. It's a 34.0. Okay, then. He's seen the time for Mandy, and he's like, okay, I'll go 2/10 quicker than that. 34.0, Jesus. These two really pushing each other. And already, only 5 minutes left of the Q1. Hippo goes to 13th. Yeah, 5 minutes left of Q1 already, these two pushing each other. Ted first and Williams, as I mentioned, wants to finish on a high. Was in contention for the championship at one point. I think it was around Baku he was winning the championship. This challenge unfortunately faded away. Has been very unlucky the last 5 or 6 races. But we know he has the pace in him. Maybe this set of tracks isn't the good ones for him, which can happen, of course. Goes up to 8th. Right in that midfield battle. Yeah, the top 2 have 0.8 on the rest of the field. Already set some pace. 4 minutes left. Who's in trouble? We've got MT the Mighty. Welcome back, MT. MT the Mighty. Took a breakaway in Brazil. But he's back on the grid once again. Let's hope he can have a good race today. His first task is to make sure he gets through to Q2 in the AlphaTauri. He seems to be battling with Orphan and Mando. He's yet to set a lap. Hippo, Moses as well. Got Orphan on a lap as well. He's just put on a set of fresh soft tyres as he goes through turn 1 and 2. Got to avoid the curbs through here, because the curbs are the ones that will send your car off. And he goes smashing into one of the advertising boards. Does Orphan. Sends bits of polystyrene flying everywhere. Get the car pointing in the right direction now. As Timmer's popped up to 5th. What a lap from Timmer. Couple of tenths behind his teammate Lincoln, so great lap from him. Destroyer's just gone ahead of him as well. So Timmer puts him easily through to Q2. See how Orphan gets on in this triple chicane. Very easy to mess up here. He's only a tenth down on his personal best. See if he can attack the curbs. Does, keeps it clean. Got Raikkonen directly behind him at the moment. I don't think Raikkonen is on a lap. I mean, Orphan already is, so Raikkonen kind of needs to give way. It does seem that Raikkonen is pushing Orphan really close to the curb on the left-hand side. He's really pushing to try and get through this Q2. But Raikkonen is still following him. Oh, and Orphan gets out the way. He didn't have to do that. I think he was on a good lap. But ever the gentleman, Orphan. It's out the way for Raikkonen. Doesn't improve. He actually went to the pits. But Orphan thought he was still on a lap. It gets out the way. That's a bit strange, but yeah, that's the guy Orphan is. He's a very kind gentleman driver. Who else is in trouble? Yeah, it seems to be Moses, Hippo, Mighty, and Orphan. And Mando, who are on board right now, is yet to set a lap. And we'll have to go again because he's just gone over that curb there. Mando on a bit of pressure in the house. Right, who else is on a lap? Hippo's on another lap. He's on a fifth lap on his softs. I would have personally put another fresh set on, but however you want to do. Moses is a second down. He's about to build up. He's got 1:40 left now. Mighty has improved to 13th. That might put him safe enough. Joy's gone up to 4th by the looks of it. Plenty of times coming in. Moses about starting. Fruit Boy also doesn't feel like he's safe. He's on another lap, as is Daniel, down in 12th in the Red Bull. Moses through turn 1 and 2. Nicely done. Right, so a minute left to go. Dano goes to 3rd, easily through to Q2. So a much better lap from Dano in the McLaren to go 3rd. Still 6 tenths off the top 2. Mando's running full traction control due to a spin in practice. Thank you for that, Chris. I didn't know that. That might be, yeah, full traction control does bog you down a little bit. Whoa. And despite running full traction control, the car still felt very loose over that curb. Hippo goes to 11th. That's a 5th lap on the softs, and he's found improvement. Okay. BG Hippo, I guess, up to 11th. That should put him through. Timmer's safe in 7th. Lovely lap from Timmer. What can Mando do? Needs to be a 30... He's been in the 35s. He is in the 35s. 35.6 to go 11th. He's through. Mighty's now in trouble. He's in 15th on the bubble. Moses is invalidated, so it's just Orphan. He's currently 17th. Needs to find 8 tenths. He's only found a couple of hundredths. Again, car feeling very loose over that left-right chicane. Let's see what Orphan can do. Can he pull himself into Q2? Everyone else. Oh no, and he must run over the curb. That's a frustrating track extend there. I feel the pain, and he's going to finish the lap anyway to see what it would have been, and it is would have been a 37.1. Would have just got ahead by Moses by a couple of thousandths. That's unfortunate for Orphan. So Orphan's out with Kabuki and Shadow Moses as we end Q1. Alright, so there is Q1. Unundusted. Obviously, sorry for Kabuki in the Alfa Romeo for crashing in turn 2. Big crash that was. I mean, if you're gonna, then might as well do it like that. But there is the first. Raikkonen and Andy, both of the drivers' championship competitors, 7 tenths ahead, or 6 tenths ahead of the rest of the field. So both of them pushing each other for this championship, with Dano in third, and the two Scotsmen are Kraken and Destroyer. Lincoln in 6th. Then we're up there in P7. Ted is down in 10th. And Fruit Boy in his first qualifying in RSF1 goes through in 14th place. What was this thinking actually? Just now. Can you imagine if it was raining in the race? Full wet rain. That'd be an interesting finale. That would sum up this season, wouldn't it? Drama and excitement. No chance of that, probably. No chance of the rain, I mean. Definitely going to be the entertainment, I'm pretty sure. As we head into Q2, who is going to try to get through on the mediums? We've seen before already this week how in qualifying, if you can save a set of soft tyres for the race, it is absolutely ridiculous how much time you can gain. Does look like to be a 2-stop. Seen a couple try to do a 1-stop, even go on the hards. It's just, they're not worth really going on unless you're trying to salvage something. Already we're seeing Andy going straight out in the medium tyres behind the Mercedes of Fruit Boy, who's going on the softs. But yeah, if you can get through on the mediums, it'll be a very good use, and Andy's already seeing that. Bracken as well, his teammates. So both Renaults going for the mediums by the looks of it. Rebel of Daniel looking to go through on the softs. Who else is on the mediums? There's a Haas coming out of Destroyer also on the mediums. This is interesting. Plenty of viewers watching at the moment. 22 I'm seeing on my laptop at the moment. All seems to be good audio-wise and picture. Of course, if there are any issues, please let me know. Seems to be okay, actually, running smoothly. Which is good. Just what we need. And of course, say hello if you want. Any questions, queries, people in the chat will be more than happy enough to have a go. What's your prediction as well? Who is going to win this championship? Andy Yuskin or Raikkonen? Also, is it going to be Ferrari winning constructors? Is it going to be Renault? As Fruit Boy, interesting from Fruit Boy, does a installation up on the sauce and goes back in. Fair enough. Anybody going to start that? Looks like McCracken, I think, might be the first one. Yep. I'm right. There's an Alfa Romeo. Yeah, McCracken's going to be the first one on the mediums. Seeing as Fruit Boy was like, nah, I'm not going to settle that just yet. Not in the softs anyway. Don't jinx it, says Tubbs the Great. Don't jinx what? I'm not trying to jinx anything. I don't even know what I meant to jinx. Into the hairpin. Again, that hairpin comes up straight away as soon as you go through that chicane. You don't want to rank in a champion, not including the constructors. It's a tough one, isn't it, constructors? Because obviously Renault have led most of it of this season. McCracken and Andy Yuskin, but the late resurgence of the two Ferraris has been really good. You know, podiums, top fives, solid points. And all of a sudden they find themselves leading, which I think they were in the lead in Brazil. Couldn't get the job done in Brazil. Got to take it to Abu Dhabi. Can they get the job done here? They only need 10 points. Seems simple enough, but 10 points is, you know, that's minimum 5th for one of them. You know, or a combination of 10 points. You know, that seems... I feel like they had the pace and, you know, race pace, consistency. Even if it's a crazy race, they could do it. But of course, we've already seen the pace of Andy. It's going to be the question of this guy, McCracken. Can he get in amongst the leaders? 35.1 on the mediums is a decent time for him to begin with. Try 36.2, 35.0. So Andy beats his teammate only by a 10th, though. That's interesting from Andy. Beats his teammate by a 10th. There's a Haas coming around of Mando. Must have invalidated his first lap. Who's about to finish? There's a Red Bull coming around. Daniel's invalidated. Oh, and spinning through the penultimate corner as well. That's going to be... Got to be careful of the McLaren. That's Dano. And then the Mercedes behind. We should be okay. It's going to be right at the racing line! Oh, how close was that? Who was that? That was Fruity Boy. Or Fruit Boy. It was on and out like that. Was so close. So dangerous. I think wrong place at the wrong time for Daniel. I don't think he meant that at all. Thankfully, Fruit Boy was on a outlap. Otherwise, that would have been very interesting. Jeez, how close that was. And Fruit Boy would have had little to no time to react there. The way the corner is. McLaren of Dano gets out of the way. Dano actually goes up the third on the 35.7. So, mid to low 35s on the mediums looks pretty good at the moment. Tacticals. Tacticals is the other one. In terms of constructors, I think Tacticals and McCracken are going to be the two big key members in this battle. But you can imagine that Andy and Raikkonen are going to be close. It depends the difference between the other two in the teams. As Tacticals are 37.6. I don't think that's going to be quick enough there. That must have been a mistake on that lap. Yeah, he's going to have to improve on that. Yeah, Tim has gone quick on a 36.6. How Fruit Boy is getting on. I keep thinking Fruity Boy. It's not a Y there. It's only fruit with a T on the end. I don't know why I keep thinking it's naturally for me to say Fruity Boy, but I know it's not that. It goes into the final corner. Going to be the 38s though, 38.7, so yeah, he must have made a mistake on that lap as well. Yeah, Hippo's saying he messed up that lap. Yeah, softs probably. Don't really want to be doing a second lap on the mediums. But the problem if you want to start on the mediums, you have to hook up the lap, like, straight away. You can make a mistake. Then it really mess up the strategy. Chronic goes third on the softs. 35.4. That might be safe enough for top 10. We are looking at the top 10, remember. And it's whatever tyre you set your best lap on. You have to start the race on those tyres. Raikkonen is looking very, very quick. Is he going to pop into 34s? 34.9. Beats Andy Yusuke again by a 10th. It's close between them. Very, very close between them. They were close in Q1 and again in Q2. Both on the medium tyres. Both might actually be safely through with that as well. Intriguing stuff. Literally nothing to separate. Well, not literally. There's a little bit to separate them, but not a lot. Can anybody get in between them is the thing. As a Lincoln gets a 35.1 in the Racing Point. He was quick yesterday in F3. Managed to get through to the top 10 in that race. So we know he has the pace. Can he become a thorn in the side of the championship contenders? Very nice lap from Lincoln. As Fruity Boy is going on a... Again, I keep saying Fruity Boy. I keep saying it. It's not well. Oh, he's very... Whoa! There goes the suspension of that Mercedes. He's very lucky he was managed to keep hold of that bouncing across the curves. That's very easy to do that as well. So, seeing the perils of that. We've yet to see another driver crash through turn 2. Yeah, Chris, who's an F4 driver, saying that's better than my best soft lap. Well, all these guys, they're pushing each other for the championship. They all want it. We can all see. All very good stuff. Again, can Tedist getting amongst the front runners? We know, obviously, from Tedist in this season, as long as he's there with the leaders, he can pick up anything. Five and a half minutes to go. We've only got 10 laps on the board. All the rest have yet to set a lap at the moment. Hippo's trying it on the mediums meantime. He's yet to set a lap, as is Mando, Daniel and MT the Mighty. Tedis into the chicane, nicely through. Who's gone up to 8th? That's Fruit Boy. He's gone up to 8th. Mediums. Oh, and Tedis too far wide. That's ruined his lap on the mediums. So now he's got to decide what to do. He's got plenty of time to get back in the pits and go on softs, but what are he going to try? Does he have enough fuel to go again on this lap? Keep an eye on that. Mighty through the triple chicane. You get into the top 10. Slight little lockup. Gets the car turned in nicely though. So it won't cost him too much. Currently the top 4, I would say, are probably safe on those medium tyres. Was very impressive. 2 tenths covering the top 4 at the moment. Does anybody's bet for pole as we go forward? What can Mighty do? Can he get into the top 10 on the soft tyres? He goes exactly 10th, just behind Timmer. Whether that would be enough. That puts Tacticals in 11th, so Tacticals under a bit of pressure because he made a mistake on that first medium run. He's trying it again on the mediums. They're not going to be fresh. There'll be 2 laps on them. He's thinking, I've got to start on these regardless whether they're fresh or not. Who's that that's gone through? Daniel up to 7th. Puts himself in the top 10. Only just, though, by a few tenths. Right on the cusp, I think. I'd say 6th downwards are probably still in danger. Daniel, Hippo, Destroyer, and Fruit Boy. Timmer out. We need Tedis and Tacticals. 2 big hitters in qualifying. So you have to go through. But Tedis is trying again. Going under the hotel, which you'll see throughout the race. It changes colour. Might be able to see it now. Just about. It's a bit overcast, actually. A few clouds in the sky. Not going to get rain. No, we're not. Here comes Tedist. 35-3. Puts himself safely through. He'll be happy with that. Alright, so who else with 2 minutes 49? Mando's just popped himself into the top 10. Displaces his teammate Destroyer. But Destroyer is on the lap, but down a few tenths. Puts Fruity Boy in 12th. Timmer 13th, Mighty 14th. Tactical still 15th, but he is on a lap here. He's only 10th and a half up. But this is probably where he made the mistake in the final sector. Big pressure on Tacticals now because he doesn't have enough time to get back into the pits. This has got to be all or nothing. Big pressure here into the braking zone. Just gets it stopped in time. It's so easy to overrun that corner because you're coming in so fast. Flirting with the track limits as well. Very risky underneath the hotel. He's already done a lap on these mediums. Is it going to be enough? He's got to beat a 36.1. 35s. No, he's 36.3. He's 12th. Tacticals is going to be... Yeah, he's put the RS down. Is he going to have enough? Would he go a 3rd lap on the mediums? They'll be very worn. The Tacticals, Destroyer's retired. That'll be a huge surprise. Tacticals normally comfortably goes into Q3. And that's not what Ferrari needs at all. We'll keep an eye on it as Tedis goes to... Tedis goes to fifth. Someone's gone up. There. Or somebody dropped it. I'm not sure. Anyway, minute 10 to go. Fruit Boy should make it. Minute, yeah, it should be all right actually. So Fruit Boy on the softs. What's Tactical's gonna do? He is saving ERS. If he has enough fuel, he can go again. So it's not completely out of it, but not ideal. Timmer is out. He's 14th. Destroyer's out as well. So this is up to Fruit Boy and Tacticals what they can do to displace Mando and then possibly Hippo, who are on the edge of the top 10. The rest are safe. So that will leave Chronic Buds currently as the only one on the soft tyres in the top 10. All the rest are mediums. What's Tactical? So you've got Fruit Boy and Tactical. So Fruit Boy in his first qualifying of RSF1, his first race, he has a chance to get it into the top 10 in that Mercedes. Let's see what he can do. Through turns 4 and 5, nicely through the chicane. Into the hairpin. Tacticals is in the pits. Tacticals is out. A Ferrari falls in Q2. He will have fresh tyres for the race. He's only just missed out by a couple of tenths, but that's not what the potential Constructors Champions would have needed. And it could be 13th if this guy's Fruit Boy improves by even a couple of hundredths. Let's be honest. So it's up to Fruit Boy to see who goes through to the top 10. All eyes on him pretty much, as he's 7 tenths up. This on a very good lap. He's just got to keep it valid through the chicane. Nicely done. It's right on board of him as he takes the final sector. So he's got to be a 36.1. He's way on course for it. I think as long as he keeps it valid, he has plenty of pace to do it. Plenty of leeway. He's keeping it very clean. Not running it over to the curbs. 1 or 2 corners between him and Mando. I think Mando's going to be out of Q2. In comes Fruit Boy to go 7th in the Mercedes. So that knocks Mando in the house out of Q2. We have our top 10. Oh, Mando misses out by a couple of hundredths of a second to Hippo. Hippo gets through on the mediums as well. So it's Chronic and Fruit Boy on the softs. The rest on mediums. Out in Q2. 15th for MT the Mighty. 14th Timmer. 13th for Tacticals in the Ferrari. Destroyer 12th. And Mando. So the 2 house drivers 11th and 12th. You got to say, the biggest surprise there, I think personally, is Tacticals in 13th. Not over by any means. He has the race pace and, you know, the general pace to get back into that top 10, but it's not ideal. Right in the middle of the pack on the first lap. Makes it very interesting. As we head into this top 10, here we go. Who's going to be on pole? Predictions in the chat. Who's going to nab it? I'd say it's a toss-up between Raikkonen and Andy Yuskin, I would say. But if any of them mess up, I think McCracken and Lincoln could be there to pick up the spoils potentially. Let's see who can take it. Let's see who can grab the last pole position of the season. Shout out to Fruit Boy here. Very first race, very first qualifying. And he's into the top 10. So very nice stuff. Exactly what Mercedes and himself needed. Going to be right in the thick of it in his first race, which will be an interesting one if he ends up battling with the championship contenders. Hippo also out early, as is Daniel. So yeah, an interesting top 10. The usual big hitters in terms of qualifying. Raikkonen, Andy, Tedist, Dano, McCracken. Lincoln as well. Who's going to take it? Most of them are out, and in fact the last person, in fact Tedis is staying in the pit, so he wants a little bit of a clean air. In fact, there he goes. So Tedis is going to be last of the drivers to set a lap. Raikkonen ahead of Andy Yuskin. In fact, both of the Renaults are quite close to one another, but they have a AlphaTauri of Chronic in between them. I think they're trying to give each other slipstream, but can't do it. And that's the thing as well. We saw the slipstream in Q1 between the Ferraris. They can't do it. The Renaults can. Can they use that, or will they use that to their advantage? I don't think they're going to do it, because the AlphaTauri is kind of in between, causing a few issues for them. When it goes through, turn 2, nicely done again. 17.0 first sector. If you can get into the 16s, you're definitely on a very good lap, but 17.0 is still not too bad. As the floodlights are most definitely on this race. The clouds are gathering as well, as it's very slowly turned nighttime as we head to the end of this Q3 session. Nicely on the exit from Fruit Boy. End of this sector. You can run over that curb a little bit to open up the chicane. Oh, and he didn't turn enough right through the middle part and went straight over the curb, and that's invalidation for Fruit Boy. Let's jump on board with Hippo. He's going to be the next guy along. Does he take it? Or just about. You think the Haas drivers tonight are going to do well? Well, they're on fresh tyres. They're the first on fresh tyres. If they can get through the first lap unscathed and maybe make through a few positions, they could be ones to watch. What? In the chat. Those fresh tyres on the first lap, or first few laps, are very, very good around here. Fresh tyres just in general, compared to another driver, are very strong. Hippo 35.4 sets the early benchmark. Daniel's going to be next. It was going to be a racing point, but it's not. 35.7 is going to be the Ferrari of Raikkonen. And he's 34.7 into the 34s. 35.3 from Dano. The Raikkonen sets the early pole. Here comes Chronic. Oh, good luck from Chronic. 35.1 gets him at a Dano. There comes a Renault of Andy to beat Raikkonen by half a tenth. 34.6. Andy Yuskin takes back pole position. Anybody can, Raikkonen or anybody else, snatch it away from him. 35.0 from Tedis goes to third. Lincoln won it back into the pits. McCracken and Fruit Boy both invalidated. Fruit Boy again has invalidated. Is Fruit Boy going to go again? Yeah, he's going to go for third lap, so why not get a lap on the board? Even if it's on slightly worn tyres, it's better than nothing. McCracken's going no ERS, so McCracken's not pushing. Anybody else pushing at the moment? Dano is again. As is Chronic. Yeah, so Dano and Chronic. So who's ahead of either of them? Is Dano, or Dano's validated. This is what Chronic do. You can do multiple laps on the softs actually. So decent stuff from him. Go with this strategy. Final two corners, there's a yellow flag. I think it's Dano who's out of fuel ahead of him. Now Chronic's back in, so nothing for the time being. Lincoln has rapidly gone into the pits and back out again. He wants to set a lap on the board. Back in again, invalidates. I go too far. Oh no, that's not ideal. Missed the pit lane. He wanted to go into the pits, overdid it. Knew he was going to hit the pit lane more, I think. So now he's got to go back round. It's going to be very slow. He should make it back in time, even with no fuel. It's not ideal. Not ideal mentally to have that mistake there. It's a bit of pressure from McCracken with the Renaults. With tacticals out of the top 10. As Fruit Boy goes into 8th in the Mercedes. Yeah, with tacticals out the top 10, this is all pressure from McCracken. It needs to, I'd say, really needs to get in the top 5. I think in this qualifying. Big opportunity. Can he take it? Lincoln running very dangerously with the curb. On the right side, 16.9 first sector. Very good first sector from Lincoln. And we know he has the pace in qualifying. We saw the lap he did to get through into the top 10 in F3 last night. Can he do it again? He's going to might have a little bit of a slipstream from the Mercedes in front. A bit too far back though. Into the chicane at the end of the first straight. Nice over the curbs, short shift on the exit. Minimises the traction. That's exactly what you want to do. Now the second straight. He's getting very close to that Mercedes in front. Hopefully Mercedes will get out of the way. I'm sure he will. Again, you can see he's short shifting out the corners to get it better on the traction. It's a very good tactic to do on any traction, whether you run medium, especially if you run no traction. You've got to be well practiced at it. Bit of a lock up through. I say pole is going to be a low 34 Hippo. By the looks of it. I think Andy and Raikkonen have a few tenths in it, but can Lincoln? Lincoln's going to push them. This is a very good lap. 33.9 from Lincoln. Fantastic lap from Lincoln in the Racing Point. Wow, it did look pretty good. I didn't think, well, it cuts the advertising board. Wow. How's that? Yeah, 7 tenths pretty much. Ahead of Yuzkin and Raikkonen. They're going to sit up and take notice. Oh, wow. Absolutely brilliant lap. Lincoln's yet to win a race this season. It's been very, very close to doing so. Was at one point actually the most consistent driver in terms of points. I think he got to, I think it was Baku, where he was the only driver that had scored points in every race. And then he went, I think, 4 or 5 races without no points. Fantastic pole position. But not pole position yet. Fantastic lap of many. He hasn't got pole yet, but can Andy and Raikkonen find 6 tenths from their lap? That would be a big push. Be interesting to see if they had. Well, Andy's going to have a go first. And out very early compared to everyone else. In fact, Raikkonen only just gone out ahead of him on an outlap. Yeah, they've really got to find a fair chunk of time to spoil Lincoln's party. But Andy's already nearly 2 tenths up in the first sector. He's definitely on it in the first part. Raikkonen gets out the way of his championship contender, gives him plenty of space. Andy heads down the first straight. And he's got to find a very fair bit of time. He's going to do the same tactic. Not using the same tactic as Lincoln. Not short shifting to 4th right in that corner. Gives him a bit more acceleration. He's able to control it. As Daniel's just binned it on the last corner. Right in front of a few guys about to start their lap. I miss how much Andy is up, but he's definitely trying to push on this. He's running the car over the curbs. He's not had many pole positions, Andy, so I think he's only had like 2 or 3 this season. Just keeps it clean on that turn. I'm amazed actually that kept valid, but he's really on it. Can he get close to 33.9 from Lincoln? It's giving it his best effort. Let's see. 33. 33.6. He takes pole back. I didn't think he could do it. He obviously had a little bit left in him. And now is Andy Yuzkin at 100% push. And he's taken pole away from Lincoln. He spoiled the party. Can Raikkonen get any closer? As time is up, McCracken's going to have one and only lap meantime in the other Renault. So again, big pressure from him. He was quite close to his teammate in Q2. So maybe he could get into the 33s as well. Jump back to Raikkonen in a bit. I just want to see whether Raikkonen can... not Raikkonen, McCracken can do. As he heads under the hotel. Final 2 corners. All heap load of understeer in the penultimate corner. That might cost him. Is it going to be enough? Where does he go? 4th. 34.7, just behind Raikkonen, who is only a 10th up. Dano goes to 4th. Beats McCracken by 4 thousandths of a second. As Raikkonen is 2 and a bit tenths up. He needs more. He needs about 9 tenths more. As Teddis goes to 3rd. Teddis in the Williams goes to 3rd. Lincoln's still on the front row. Who else is on laps? You got Hippo and Fruit Boy. Both just ahead of Raikkonen. Hippo's going to be first. He's several tenths up. On his lap is Hippo. Currently 8th. Where is he going to go? He goes to 7th. Fruit Boy goes to 9th. Raikkonen goes to 3rd. 3 tenths behind Andy Yuzkin, his championship contender. Andy Yuzkin takes pole position in Abu Dhabi by 3 tenths of a second, but I will probably be correct in saying that's Andy Yuzkin at his 100% best. I think he really worked for that pole. It seemed to be when I was on board. Raikkonen in 3rd. He at least can keep an eye on his title rival. But if it stays like this, Andy Yuzkin will be driver's champion. But we've got a long race to go. Plenty of stuff still to happen. Teddis in 4th. Dano just displaces McCracken into 6th. Hippo with worn tyres into 7th. With Chronic in 8th. Fruit Boy 9th. And Daniel in P10. Just waiting on Andy actually to retire. We can move on to the race. Either that, we're going to have to wait 30 seconds. There we have it. Q3 done and dusted. The last qualifying session of the season. And it's Andy Yuzkin takes pole, but just over 3 tenths from Lincoln. A good effort from Lincoln. He's in between the 2 championship contenders. Of course, if anything happens between the 2, he could be there for his first win. They are 6 tenths ahead of the rest of the field. Teddis in 4th, Dano and Kraken all very close to one another. Hippo 7th. Quantic Buds in 8th, Fruit Boy in 9th, and Daniel in 10th place. And we are going to be heading ourselves to the race very, very shortly. Right, here we go for the final race of the season. And it's completely dry. It's kind of a shame. Oh, Fruit Boy. Read the rules of all the time. I think Lincoln dashboarded. Yeah, you might have done. Hang on a second. Of course. There's Lincoln. Thank you for that, Hippo. Oh, read the rules, Fruit Boy. Yep. Fortunately, that's going to be a penalty in your first race next season. But hopefully everybody is going to be ready. I know Lincoln dashboarded. I gave him an invite. Hopefully he joins back. But before schedule, I guess. Here we go for the grid. This 18-car grid for the last race in F5. Kabuki in the Alfa Romeo crashed in turn 2. No, don't worry about it, no bachelor. It's alright, as long as you learn from it. You gotta read the rules. They're there for a reason. Kabuki says hit the stars Orphan, they're gonna be put back to the grid. Yes, Orphan in 17th with Shadow Moses in 16th in the Mercedes, NT the Mighty in 15th in the AlphaTauri. 14th for Timmer, interestingly, on the soft tyres in the Racing Point. 13th for Tacticals, a bit lower than what he's used to, what I'm used to seeing him down in Ferrari. All pressure on him to get back into the points. Capable of doing so. He's got to keep himself clean though in the first lap. Then the two Haas drivers, Destroyer in 12th, interestingly on the softs, Mando in 11th. 10th, top 10, Daniel in the Red Bull. Fruit Boy in his first race in the Mercedes in P9. Chronic Buds in 8th in the AlphaTauri, also on the soft tyres. The rest of the top 7 all on the medium tyres. First is Hippo in the Alfa Romeo. Good qualifying from him. McCracken, P6 in the Renault. One of the contenders for the constructors. Dano in 5th in the McLaren. Ted First in 4th. Wants to end the race on a high in the Williams in P4. Raikkonen in 3rd. Be slightly disappointed there's a Racing Point in between, but at least he can keep an eye on his championship contender, Andy Yuskin. Lincoln, though, P2, missed out on pole by a couple of tenths of a second, still looking for his first win of the season. Can it happen here? It's going to be difficult because you've got two drivers around you, both going for the Drivers' Championship. And then our current championship leader, Andy Yuskin, 17-point advantage. If he's higher than 5th, regardless of what Raikkonen does, Andy Yuskin is the champion. Let's see how it all turns out. I'm thinking it cannot be a normal race. I'm thinking at the end of this, I'm going to be shattered. My voice is going to be nowhere. I'm expecting drama. We got to expect drama. Of course, it's F5. It's 28 laps here. We've already seen a couple of incidents through turn 1 and 2 throughout this week, not just F5. Here we go. We've got 29 viewers ready for the start of this race. Fantastic stuff. Thank you all for watching this. The finale at F5 is ready to go. Hopefully, everyone is back and everyone is ready to go. We don't want to restart on our final race, please. Please go, Masters. Be kind. And we are kind. Yes, we are. For 4, 5 red lights for the last time in F5. And the lights out on away. We goes a slow start by Lincoln. Very slow start by Lincoln. Of course, he's still in AI mode. Tennis is through up on the inside. Ad is Raikkonen. Oh, there's contact. Big contact with one of the Renaults. And it's caused carnage. And that's all because of everything that's happened with him disconnecting. He had to rejoin his AI. He's caused absolute carnage. Safety car as well. Big contact with the Alfa Romeo as well. That's not what you want to see. And that's... I don't think that's really anything to do with Lincoln. He's just regained control of his car, and it's just, yeah, all that. Penalties galore as well. McCracken was involved in all that as well, as was Tacticals in the Ferrari. Did he get any damage from it? We'll have a look. Yeah, penalties galore. 5 seconds for Moses, McCracken, Timmer and Lincoln. 10 for Kabuki. Plenty of damage. Let's filter through. Right, so Andy has the lead with Raikkonen. Tedis is up to 3rd. Dano's up to 4th. Mando's had a huge start after 5th. He's benefited massively from all that, as is Fruit Boy in the Mercedes. No damage for those by the looks of it. Hippo is stay where he is in 7th. Mighty's up to 8th. He's had a Herculean start. Did he get through unscathed? Yes, he did, I think. Tacticals has huge damage. He'll be back in the pits. Daniel, did he get anything? Yes, he did as well. Orphan didn't, so Orphan's going to benefit from this. Remember her 3-second timeout. Moses damage. McCracken. Yeah, he got damage as well. Yeah, there's going to be tons and tons of people in the pits. Yeah, I agree. Stupid AI. Yeah, anybody that has 5 seconds, they can all remove themselves for 5 seconds. So Moses, Kraken, Timmer, Lincoln, they can all remove that. But Kabuki, unfortunately, is going to have both of them. Yeah, all of them, tons of them into the pits. And we'll see, or still the shuffle. We'll regroup once everything's back underway again. Not what you want to see. Such a shame, but I tell you what it does do. It throws everything, in terms of constructors at least, out of the window. What can these guys do to... Well, they're all going on mediums, interesting. Nobody touching the hard. In fact, the only one on the... Yeah. Kabuki going to go mediums as well. He's going softs. Well, yeah. So, Kabuki and Fruit Boy are the only ones on the softs. Everyone else is on mediums. We'll allow the timing pages to sort themselves out. Drama already. Safety car number 1. I guess, in terms of Raikkonen at least, doesn't have Lincoln there, but it's not what you want to see from Lincoln. As I said, could have... I mean, he could still win. I wouldn't put it past him. I know it sounds silly saying that in 18th, but we've still got 26 laps. So, and he's on softs. He's going to go aggressive. Mando, stay in line. There we go. Wow. Right, so let's see on the positions gate. Wow. Oh, look at that. Mando up 6, up to 5th. Mighty up 7 to 8th. Orphan up 8 to 9th place. Lincoln down 16. McCracken as well. Tacticals actually, despite being caught up in that, Tacticals has actually gained from it 3 places. And he's on medium... Did he start on the medium tyres? I don't think he did. Did he start on mediums? I don't know. Rest director. Pit stops. Tacticals went from medium to medium. Okay, so he was on the mediums anyway. So he could go softs. He could go double softs, I guess. Yeah, he could. Back under safety car. Those that missed the start. Lincoln was in AI mode, and obviously regained control by the looks of it through turn 1, and he just was in the middle of a 3-wide situation. Of course, Carnage behind. Again, it's nothing that Lincoln could have done. I think it's just the way this game works. If you lag out of a lobby and back in, it's just annoying what happens with that. It's just one of those things. Hopefully next game they can sort. Oh, Lincoln's got a 5 place. Oh, no, he's retired. No. There's still plenty of this race left. Oh, he's obviously so frustrated with everything. That is a real shame. I feel really sorry for him, and it's not... Nah. Really not to say. Yeah, those that... Actually, that's a good point, May. Also, hi, Matt. You did say hi earlier. Apologise. I didn't say hi back. Yeah, anybody on mediums actually could stretch them out. Especially those that have just pitted. Can go for a 1-stop, possibly. We saw Shane did it yesterday. He went really long on his tyres. A 1-stop is possible, but you've really got to work with them. The safety car will help, of course. So, the safety car is in this lap. Called very early. Of course, that's where the last sector begins. And you'd imagine Raikkonen will not want to let Andy Yuskin go on this restart. He especially doesn't want to allow Tedis to get ahead of him. He now has a free run at this Renault. Heat pressure on Renault as well. McCracken with a 3-second time penalty right in the corner. So yeah, you got McCracken down in 15th. Tacticals, as I said, amazingly has gained out of all this. I don't know how. Gained a few places. He's the highest of those that stopped. We'll see what happens under this restart. Bit of a spaced out. They're not really bunching up. In some ways it's good. It'll be less hectic. As when is Andy going to drop the clutch? When is he going to apply the throttle? He does in the last corner. He's still bunching them up. Wow. What a very, very late restart. But we're back underway. And this has caught Tedis maybe under pressure from Dano. On the outside. And Dano's having a look. Got caught in the curb. Mando got checked up because Fruit Boy don't go around the outside of turn 2 nearly. On the curb as well. As Tacticals has dropped back. He's spun on the second corner. Huge collision with Orphan. Has he got more damage? He has. He's not having a lock at all. As Fruit Boy's now had a spin as well. It's all kicking off once again. Oh, Tacticals. The one race. The one race where he doesn't want to have all the bad luck on him. He's got damage again. Oh, at least he's still in the race. There's still a long way to go, but not what he wants. As Andy is already a second ahead of Raikkonen. Here comes Dano with a good run on Tedis, round the outside of the second straight, trying to go right on the outside of Tedis. Tedis just holds him off. As Mando looks at the pair of them, the front two already trying to pull a gap from these guys. The Tacticals. Big pressure now on Ferrari, but at least the benefit is he's still got McCracken out the points, but McCracken's already up to 12th and pressurising Moses for 11th. Let's see as Mando, don't go on the inside of that penultimate corner, was never going to work. But Andy Yuskin's already put his foot down, fastest lap of the race. As there's a spinning Alfa Romeo of Kabuki at the back, under the hotel. He's going to get that going soon. And yeah, he does, and he's got loads of front wing damage. Tacticals doesn't pit, he manages to, or decided to stay out. But that's going to be a long evening for Tacticals from there. At least he stays in it. Right, but Andy already is gone up the road. 1.5 seconds from Raikkonen. Raikkonen is dropping Tedis. Can he keep up with the back of this Renault as Tedis still has Dano behind him? Then you got Hippo in 6th. MT the Mighty, who again had that great start. He's benefited from the carnage. Finds himself in a battle for 6th. He's got a big run on Hippo. Is he going to be close enough for a move? I don't know whether he would be. Having a look. Not close enough this time. Who else? You got Destroyer behind Chronic, or right behind Chronic. And he's touching him through as McCracken makes his way by Moses. In fact, Moses is being passed by Timo as well. Now he's got his teammate Fruit Boy right behind him. Mercedes, very close. Nearly touching as well. Fruit Boy in the softs wants to clear this traffic as soon as possible. He's got his teammate, who's not obliging at the moment. DRS enable, so McCracken needs to get back in the points, currently 11th now. As we were already on lap 6. After that safety car came in, it's been a hectic start. And yeah, the top two are pulling away from Tedis. They're already 3 seconds up the road. And Raikkonen is just about stabilising a gap. But it is 1.6 seconds out of DRS. He's got to get back into it. And Tacticals is in the pits. There comes Dano. He's got a huge run using a lot of ERS. A lot of ERS. onto Tedist. Tedist man, well, thinking about saving. He's thinking the long game. Big lock up on the pair of them. Battling for third place. Got Mando right behind them as well. Not a good exit from Tedist. He might be under pressure. Well, no, he's got the DRS and using a bit of VRS. The re-attack Dano, but Dano's already gone. So Dano into third now. Tacticals with a time penalty. This is going to be a long evening for Tacticals, but safety car, and all of a sudden he's back in it. Needs to be a big train right behind Hippo. In fact, this is Hippo going all the way back to Moses in 13th. By the looks of this. Chronic Bud's all over the back of Daniel as well, in the middle of it. This is low end of the top 10. Timmers had a go by McCracken. What's happened with McCracken? He was making progress. So he got damage on his front wing. Give me a better camera angle than helicopter shot. I think he does have damage. He does. He's back into the pit. So both Tacticals and McCracken having bother. McCracken's flown into the pits. He's retired. McCracken's retired from it. Oh, what's happened to Raikkonen? Raikkonen spun. Raikkonen spun at turn 2. There's a Williams as well. Tedis is off as well. Drama. Big drama. Tedis may gone off in avoidance. Massive wing damage for Tedis. Any damage for Raikkonen. And it's a virtual safety car because of everything. Oh no, he's down to 10th. No damage though. He's still in the points. Well, he's still in the race, I mean, but not what he needs. Not what he needs at all. Tedis though as well. He was one of the leaders up there. And he's got huge front wing damage. No front wing at all. For the McCracken's retired. Can Andy was it? They were. How many points were they behind? How many points were Ferrari behind? I think Andy Yuskin, even if he wins, I think that would be enough. So under virtual safety car, let's have a look at this. So 35 points. Yeah, with that, Ferrari are Constructors Champions. Because even if Andy wins, that's not enough. They were 35 points behind. So McCracken's retirement means Ferrari, even though they're having the worst race by the looks of it, with Raikkonen just spinning down to 10th, he's now right in the middle of this train. Yeah, I agree, Chris. This is all in Andy's hand. It's all Andy's to lose. Imagine Raikkonen must have lost it at that corner just there through turn 2, and Tedis may have collected him or just spun in avoidance. Even there, this is not good for Raikkonen at all. He's just got to keep driving. He's got to keep his head up. He's got a row of cars ahead of him. Tedis is back into the pits. I hope he doesn't retire. There's still plenty of this race left. Any safety car is... Oh, there's Daniel right in front of MT the Mind. He had to slam on his brakes. Nearly hit the back of that Red Bull. Daniel's through. They were running side by side into the braking zone, but... And now Daniel's got to cope with the other Avatar of Cornet. He's going to go on a massive attack, massive lunge in the chicane. Daniel just gives him enough room. Andy, meantime, got a penalty, which could come back to haunt him later in the race. But at the moment, 6 seconds in the lead and pulling away from Dano in the McLaren. From a mistake for Raikkonen to make a rare one as well. You rarely see it, but he's got it all to do. He's got to keep his head up. Head up in terms of morale, but head down, get the pace, get the consistency up. It's going to be difficult though. Look at the row of cars ahead of him. That's Hippo, Daniel, Chronic, Destroyer, Mighty, and Timmer all ahead of him. I agree, Chris. We need a safety cat. I believe you mean a safety car. Yeah, safety car, not safety cat. Tacticals down in 13th. Well, as I said, regardless of the horrible race. I mean, we've already had a safety car rocket, so it is rare, but yeah, despite the horrible race that Ferrari are having at the moment, they are Constructors' Champions. They could be out of the points, both of them. It doesn't matter, as Daniel and Hippo and Chronic, as Tedis does retire. Daniel just about gives Chronic a little bit of a squeeze, as Tedis has retired from the race, and that is a big, big shame. 3 very big entertainers of this division, as Chronic runs very deep into the corner. Look at this train of cars. From 4th down to 10th. Fantastic stuff. All yellow flags. It's just Tedis' car. 3 big hitters. Tedis, McCracken and Lincoln don't deserve retirements on this last race, that's for sure. But it is what they've got them. This is ridiculous. Oh, Hippo's in. Is that an early stop? That seems an early stop for mediums. Where's he going to go on to? He's going to have plenty of undercut on everyone. What's he going to go to? Mediums again. Raikkonen in the pits as well. He's going to go on to. So Hippo goes on to soft tyres. Raikkonen as well. So yeah, going very aggressive. Who's left the lead? Who's left the lead rocket? Not got a feature where you can retire in your garage. No. No, it's a thing. Oh, House. No, they haven't. They haven't. Tim have got a mighty run on MT the Mighty. The pun, big locker for Mighty is like, go on then, go through. I'm giving you the space. Bit of miscommunication between the two. I'll crack him. I think, yeah, I'd leave him to be in his force. Oh, what's happened there? More miscommunication. Timmer and Mighty, what's going on here? It was like, no, after you. Kind of thing going on at the moment. There's damage for Timmer though, I think, which is very unfortunate. And sad to see now in front of the 2 Mercedes who are still locking horns. Moses and Fruit Boy. Fruit Boy and the Softs cannot find a way past Moses. And now Moses, they've reached behind Timmer, who's struggling now with that damage. Right, so Hippo on those softs cleaner. Yeah, Timmer's in. Still the 2 Mercedes going on. I would have thought Fruit Boy would have passed him and gone. Mighty and Timmer are in. I think that was just a simple miscommunication between the two. But it's, oh, Chronic gives Daniel a bit of a love tap. At the moment, Andy Yuskin in control of this race and the championship, as Chronic has another run on Daniel. Come on, lunge up on the inside, get the move done. There you go. Big lock up for Daniel. Can Daniel retaliate on the exit? Chronic got a decent run out of that chicane, but Daniel's going to have DRS. Chronic used a bit of ERS though to defend, and Daniel's not going to be close enough for a lunge back, so Chronic is into 4th place. Yeah, bring on 2021, Lincoln. I do agree. That's a real shame that you had all that luck there. As I said, definitely think you've had the pace and the luck to win a race this season, but so close. Real shame. It's not. Yeah, as I said before, all the 3, Lincoln, McCracken, and Tedis, they don't deserve retirements in the last race. Of course, huge entertainment for me and everyone else, but real shame. McCracken leaving the league, well, I hope he rethinks that decision, but he's just obviously he's have a place as Raikkonen sets the fastest lap of the race. He's not giving up, and I don't expect him to. Soft tyres. He's right behind Hippo, who's online for a decent top 5 finish, but Raikkonen's obviously wants to and needs to aim higher than that. So he needs to clear Hippo, I think, on this straight. See what can happen here. Still got the top 7 yet to pit. They're on the medium tyres, I think, trying to go long. These two, they're not going to go to the end on those tyres, so they're going aggressive. Not using any ERS, using the grunt of that Ferrari engine. They're both Ferrari engine cars running very deep into the corner. He actually made it. I thought he was going to overrun it. But he's through into 8th, and I don't think Hippo is going to retaliate. No, I don't think it's going to be close enough for retaliation. So Raikkonen through into 8th. As I mentioned before, still got plenty of this race. We're not even halfway. We're just under halfway. As it stands, Andy Yuzkin is the driver's champion of F5. If it finishes like this, and you're nearly hitting the wall, it wouldn't be F5 without another sting in the tail, would it? Yeah, it could be a tactic, actually. Rocket, I agree. Follow Raikkonen. Follow Raikkonen through. Can gain maybe a few places from it. Daniel nearly losing the car again. Really struggling on these mediums. Trying his best to keep up with Chronic, but Chronic is gone up the road. He's now going to be under pressure from this guy, Destroyer. Still the top 3 yet to pit first. All these guys, Chronic, Daniel, Destroyer, Moses, they pitted on the safety car, and Daniel got a horrible exit out the hairpin, and Destroyer's going to gobble that up into 5th. You can see the Mercedes in the background. I love this shot. You can see the cars in the background there as Destroyer benefits from that mistake. Give Andy Yuzkin a little bit of track time. You obviously know the situation. Probably has plenty of people telling him. Like engineers and all that. He's doing very well. Gap to leader. There we go. Matty. He wanted that for a second, but Andy currently 6-second lead in a rhythm. Yes, the only downside is he's got to keep his concentration up. It's very easy to lose your concentration when you're by yourself. Ayrton Senna in real life done it with over a minute lead at Monaco once. So I think he's just not pushing. He's not using, you know, look at his ERS. He's got nearly 100%. As Raikkonen has gone by Moses. Moses is dropping back through. He's got Hippo all over the back of him as well now. So Raikkonen's into 7th. He's definitely head down. Absolutely flying in the soft tyres. Oh, Hippo had to really get out of that corner. The understeer from the dirty air through turn 2 wasn't great at all. He's on for a good result, Hippo. Potentially. Still penalties galore, including the leader. Dano is keeping the gap stable around about 6 seconds, but Andy's not pushing. As Hippo definitely pushing on Moses. And squeezes through on the inside to take 8th place away on the Mercedes. Oh, and mistimes the brakes. I look down to check my buttons, and Moses just gives Hippo a little bit of a tap in the chicane. That cost Hippo a bit of time. No damage, I don't think, from the Mercedes, but oh, and again, Moses really getting caught out by the braking of Hippo there. Fortunately, nothing more than a bit of a headbutt. Andy Yuzkin pits on the lead. Anna decides to carry on, as does Mando. Chronic pits. Front wing damage. Randy, interesting. Where did he get that from? Interesting. Soft tyres for him. That might hamper him a little bit. Where's he going to come out? He's going to come up behind Raikkonen. Is he going to be able to go to the end from here, though? 13 laps on softs? Oh, he's come outside. Oh, he's come outside beside with Hippo. Hippo just sneaks ahead of him, actually. Interesting. Maybe this... What just no? What just no? What? Yeah, 14 laps on softs is a bit far. He definitely had a pit again, so this is interesting from Andy. Meanwhile, scoots by Hippo, so Hippo just getting in front of the pit lane. So he's got one more stop to make. Interesting call. Very interesting call. Maybe this ain't over yet. Because now Raikkonen's ahead. They both got one stop to make. I'm agreeing with the chat. Every person in the chat is saying no, no chance. He has to pit again. And he has a penalty. I thought this was a done deal. And Raikkonen, with the pace he's got on the softs, he's got out ahead. He's 4 laps older. He's behind Raikkonen legit. Mando pits. Interesting. Can Dano and Destroyer can Dano and Destroyer and Daniel push their mediums to a safe soft stint? I mean, Daniel most certainly can. So Daniel could be in a good position here. So Mando pits. He comes out 7th. He's just going to come out just ahead of Moses. Well, Moses is lagging. I don't know what's going on there. But Mando comes out 7th. Fresh tyres. Plenty of clean air. Yeah, despite this, Andy is definitely on it. He was 3 seconds behind Raikkonen. He's 1.7 now. But they've definitely got to pit again. Oh, so this safety car is really throwing up something. Hip over time penalty. Has he got that down the straight? It's not over till it's overy. Oh, yeah. Not over till it's over. So what I'm thinking here, if Daniel, Destroyer, and Dano can extend their stint currently on the mediums to, if they can get their mediums to lap 18 or lap 19, say, they can do a safe soft run to the end, and then they could be, well, no, Dano pits. So there goes Dano at the equation. He was on 16 lap mediums. I didn't think he could. And he confirms it. He's going to go softs and be behind these. I mean, Andy Yusuke fastest lap. He's absolutely crawling up to the back of Raikkonen. He has to push, because that penalty that he has right over the curb. He's risking everything. Yeah, so Dano comes out just behind Mando, so he's in the battle there for 6th. Hippo's in this as well. He's only 5 seconds off these two. Yeah, if so Daniel's just ahead of Raikkonen, just outside of DRS. Raikkonen needs that DRS to help defend him from Andy, because Andy's now right there. He's dropped Hippo. Well, there is Hippo. He's going to have Mando and Dano on him very quickly. But 4 seconds up the road from this is this guy, Destroyer. If he can extend his stint just a couple more laps, he'd only need to pit one more time as well. I think everyone's got a pit stop left to make. Raikkonen's all over the back of Daniel. He's got to clear this Red Bull. In fact, Daniel really struggling on these mediums. He's all over the place. Raikkonen go for a bold move on the outside. Lovely sweeping around the outside move, and that was crucial. Now he's got the Red Bull in between himself. I think Daniel's really struggling on these mediums, but Destroyer's got a 4-second gap up the road. Andy's don't go running outside, Andy. Oh, just about makes it. Never mind, Destroyer pits, but can Destroyer go to the end on softs? I reckon he can. Ooh. I don't know who's going to win this race, really. 3.3 second time, by Chronic as well. He has no trouble on mediums getting to the end in 7th. I think Daniel's going to drop down a bit. Meanwhile, Andy got a good run on Raikkonen. He's not going to be close enough, I think, for this straight. Might be close enough for the next one. I'll check Andy's warnings in a minute, Chris, but he's going to have a move on Raikkonen. He's going for the switchback here. You can see him 5 lap better tyres. Raikkonen's going to struggle a little bit, and here we go. Andy ran the outside of Raikkonen here. Don't think Raikkonen has too much defence. No, Raikkonen lets him through. And he takes the lead. Hippo and man, what's going on? Oh, it's 3 wide here. No wonder they're swapping positions. And it's Dano squeezing on Hippo. Squeezed by into 4th. No wonder they were changing positions left, right and centre. That's Dano into 4th on the ultra fresh soft tyres. And you got Mando and Destroyer. So Hippo's in the same situation as Raikkonen and Andy. You probably has to pit again. And look, he's all over the place. He clips the bollard. What's going on here? Hippo trying to defend. Mando's got through. And now he's got Chronicle over him. Mental stuff. In comes Daniel. I know he was going to pit soon. Hippo pits as well. 7 lap on softs. Yeah, he's just going to hit for another set of tyres. Easily get to the end from here. Right. So who needs to pit again? Everyone needs to pit again. So does that... Can Dano get to the end? Can Dano get to the end? Yellow flag. The Alpha drivers, Kabuki at the back. Tacticals as well. Where's Tacticals? 13th place for Tacticals. Wow, he's not having a great race at all. Just been very, very unlucky. Not recovered from that first lap. Chronic net P1. Can Dano get to the end? That's the thing. I know Destroyer can. Dano's only 1 lap older tyres than him. Front 2 definitely will need a pit. Raikkonen most definitely. Andy probably needs to. Mega Centurion did 12 laps, so 9 laps. Yes, so Dano's in it. Dano's in this, as is Mando. Chronic most definitely is, but he's on mediums, and Destroyer's in this. They will go ahead of Raikkonen and Andy. Penalties as well. 3 for Andy, 3 for Destroyer. Andy most definitely has the pace. Raikkonen cannot keep up with him. Of course, Raikkonen's on the much older tyres as well. They might still get points. All over the place here. Daniel's all over the back of Fruit Boy. And Fruit Boy... Daniel up to the inside of turn 1. This will be an interesting move. And Fruit Boy trying to hold it. Trying to hold it. Oh, don't go side by side through turn 2. Dano just sneaks ahead. I think, yeah, Fruit Boy's got a bit of damage. So he's struggling with understeer. Oh, why now? Why is my interval going now? Especially when Destroyer is now having a go on Chronic. This is fresh tyres against mediums. Chronic slightly closed the door. Destroyer backed out of it. He's going to have much better grip, and DRS. And TOS using all the power he can. Round the outside. Surely you'll have the grip on these softs. Where's the AlphaTauri? There he is. Destroys through into 5th. Chronic gets a time penalty for his troubles. I need my intervals back, please. As Mighty gets by Fruit Boy. Yeah, Fruit Boy's really struggling that damage, and that's a real shame. He was in the top 10, dropping down to 9th. Gonna have Hippo as well. The Raikkonen pits from second. And yeah, Chris saying he needs to spit this out. There he goes. Another pair of soft tyres. Safely go to the end. Is there one final twist in the tail of this championship? He's going to be quite far behind those that don't need to pit. But he's going to be roaring up to the back of them. Going to be way ahead of Hippo. Go through that battle. Let's see. Right, so he's 8 seconds behind Chronic, Destroyer, Mando, etc. who don't need to pit again. Let's see what he can do. He's got 7 laps, 8 seconds. It's already cutting into it. He's gained about half a second already, so we'll keep an eye on it. There he is in the background. So I would say Dano is in the net lead of this race. We're all agreeing that Andy's going to struggle to get to the end on these tyres. I think safety car will be fun. There's a yellow flag and set to 3. Oh, it's just the Alfa Romeo Kabuki. There he is, hasn't recovered from the first lap either. And in fact, Andy does pit. So not even trying to push these softs to the end. Hitting, so that's going to put Dano in the lead and a Haas 2-3. Mando second, Destroyer third. Destroyer on the freshest tyres of the 3. So we have a battle for the win here. They're going to be miles ahead. Yeah, there goes Andy. They're not going to be miles ahead, so Andy might still be on for this win. Going to come out behind Chronic. If Andy wants to win this race, he's got a good chance. He's got to do plenty of overtaking. He is... How far is he behind the leader? He's 6 seconds behind the leader. 4 laps. Fresh tyres. Here we go. Raikkonen in 6th as well. Remember, Andy has the penalty, so... Well, Chronic's not going to fight him at all. So there's one. And now he's already behind the back of the Destroyer. What's happened to the Destroyer? He's in AI mode. What's happened to the Destroyer? He's dropping back. What's happening here? He's lagging all over the place. What's happened to the Destroyer? What a shame from him. My voice going. Yeah, Destroyer's dropped well back. And Andy's just gained about 2 positions just like that. What a shame for Destroyer. He was looking very good. As we have 6 laps of the race to go. Dano leads the race. In the McLaren. Mando in 2nd, but Andy is closing them down hand over fist. Look at this. Absolutely flying. Remember, he has that penalty. And he has been flirting with the track limits the last few laps. I'm guessing he's close in the warnings as well. Raikkonen in 6th. No penalties, but he's not doing enough for the championship, is Raikkonen. That spin has really cost him. But still 5 laps to go. Warnings, missing movements when I can. Okay, here we go. And he has... Oh, he's 1 more warning away from a second. Raikkonen has 1 warning as well. But yeah, Andy is 1 warning away from a second penalty. Got to go back to the race. Mando is going to be passed by Andy Yusuke. He's not got much ERS left. Even as Dano, but Andy is into 2nd. He's doing what he can. He may be doing enough for the title already, but he wants this race win. He wants another one to add, and I think with the pace he has, I think he might have it. Kabuki with a time penalty as well. 33 viewers watching the last 5 laps of the F5 division in RSF1. Thank you very much for watching. It's been as I thought. It's been a dramatic race, twists and turns, unfortunate incidents that have made this interesting. Safety car right at the beginning. Of course, it's had its entertainment. We're still not done yet. We've got Andy Yusuke has already caught the back of Dano. He's absolutely flying. He has that 3-second penalty. He's got to gain... Oh. Oh, Dano. Really? Why didn't you fight it? Wow. Well, he's still got to gain 3 seconds. It's still there. He's got 4 laps, 2.2 seconds. Dano. Should have fought it. I want some battles. Can have a battle here. Raikkonen on the back of Chronic. So, I would say the pace, despite making... How many stops does he make? 2 stops compared to the other one. I think Andy has the pace to get 3 seconds as Raikkonen blitzes by Chronic's on those mediums. Yeah, a bit anticlimactic. Yeah. It is. Still got 4 laps. Still got 4 laps to go. Still got to gain another 1.7, but at the moment as it stands, he is Drivers' Champion. Remember, Ferrari are crown champion regardless of what Andy does. They needed to overhaul Ferrari by 35 points. I mean, Ferrari needed 10. I mean, Raikkonen at the moment is on for... He's on for a 4th, actually. He won't even be on the podium. But he's clambering up the back of Destroyer. This is how strong fresh tyres look. Look at the understeer that Destroyer has. Yellow flag. Oh, that's Orphan. Then everybody go through. Well done, Orphan. Hugging the wall on the inside. Yeah. I mean, you could see... I mean, Dano at the end of the day, he'll be happy with 2nd. He'll take it. I'm with you, Chris. A little bit of defense wouldn't have harmed, but Raikkonen still actually might get on the podium, you know. He's not completely out of it just yet, as he's already got Destroyer. Might have a double move here. Surely not going to be close enough to Mando, but he's got Destroyer. Destroyer's got to be careful of the braking zone. Oh. Nearly clobbers the back of the Ferrari, but Ferrari of Raikkonen's looking for a double move here, double DRS. It's the beauty of having 2 long straights. Is he going to have enough, though? Does he have enough guts in that engine? Mando hanging on to it, but Raikkonen sweeps around the outside and takes 3rd place on the road, and he still has Dano ahead of him. 4 lap fresher tyres. The Haas boys are dropping back. They've dropped off the podium. And the 2 Haas drivers still battling over who's going to be on 4th, but Mando has no pens. Everyone else behind Mando has a penalty. As we head to lap 26 and already... Oh, Andy! Andy has a 2nd penalty! Oh no! He's on 6 seconds. He's still going to find another 2nd. Andy! Oh goodness. He still has... He's still got... I mean, he still has the pace. I mean, Raikkonen still... I mean, Raikkonen could still win this. Despite the spin on turn 2. Because he's all over the back of Dano for 2nd. Is Dano going to fight this? Or he's turning on the inside. Raikkonen has too much pace here. And through into 2nd. Dano folded it a little bit. But yeah, Andy now has 6 seconds of penalties. And now he's got Raikkonen to contend with. This. They're still battling for the race win. This is very close. He's got Kabuki ahead. Hopefully Kabuki yeets out the way. Should do. Kabuki. Kabuki, come on. Dirty air that Raikkonen doesn't want. Oh, there he goes. Dano seems okay in 3rd place, and he's still got the 2 Haas drivers nose to tail. Who else we got? We've got Chronic in 6th, he's fine. Dano in 7th, he's fine as well. Hippo in 8th. Tactical's 9th. Fruit Boy, is he going to hold on to 10th? Yeah. The top 10 might not change. We've got a lap and a half to go. Randy Yuskin, he's just about hanging on to the race victory. He's got 2 attempts now. On Raikkonen, how many more warnings does he have? Raikkonen's just got his 2nd warning. And Andy Yuskin is his personal best, sector 1. They're still pushing. Jeez. Driver of the day. Anyone's guess, really. Andy, you would say he's controlled. Andy Yuskin's controlled this race. What a recovery from Raikkonen. That spin at turn 2 to haul himself back to 2nd onto the podium. Destroyer in terms of positions, you would say. I mean, both Haas drivers have had a stellar race. And he's still pushing. Really right on the curve, so does not want to drop it at this point. Because I would say, if he does drop it in the last lap, Raikkonen's champion. Don't need to push. We've got 1 more lap to go. 1 more lap left. Mando gets himself a 3-second penalty to basically put Destroyer into 4th. 1 final lap in F5. And this guy, all he has to do is just coast it. He doesn't even have to win this race. But he was determined. He came out under his 2nd pit stop. I mean, a couple, yes, paved the way, opened the door, I guess. You could say that, but he had his head down. Controlled this race. Safety cars are plenty, virtual safety cars as well. Had to go through the strategy. But he's done it. Meantime, Dano is really struggling on his tyres, and Destroyer is right behind him. Destroyer has the penalty, but Dano's really dropped off the pace for some reason. Really dropped off the pace as Chronic is having a go at Mando. This is for position. And, oh, he's outbraked himself. Mando trying to get back. Whoa. Bit of contact on the exit. Chronic gives him a rub. And he's through into 5th, and that is on track as Destroyer. Yeah, Dano's all over the place with his tyres. They must be gone. Oh, Destroyer gets a time penalty. Trying to overtake him. Desperately trying to. But we'll pop it board of Andy Yuskin. And as long as he gets through these final 2 corners, he is going to be not only the winner in Abu Dhabi, he's going to be the F5 Division Champion of RSF1. Well done. Well done for Andy Yuskin. 0.6 of a second from Raikkonen. What a recovery to back into 2nd place from Raikkonen. He did all he could, but it wasn't enough in the end. P2 from him. Dano in 3rd place on the podium. A great podium to end his season. The Haas boys 4th and 6th because Chronic manages to get in between them to 5th place. Daniel P45 in 7th. Hippo in 8th. Tacticals, a horrible bad luck race that he's had in this one. But he's done enough. Ferrari have done enough to win the Constructors in F5. They are the F5 champions. Tacticals 9th. MT the Mighty back on the grid after missing the Brazil race. He gets on the point. Fruit Boy misses out on the point only just in 11th. Finally, we have Timmer who's battling with Shadow Moses for this. Or are they going... Are they parading? I mean, they're parading. Yes, they are. I'll get a better camera angle of this. There we go. Side by side, kind of battling. Timmer and Moses. Side by side. Through the final 2 corners to end F5. There we go.
Oh.
I can have a very well-earned rest at the end of that. Great stuff from F5. Battles all over the place. The drama, of course, with the safety car. Of course, the safety car was caused, unfortunately, with the whole rejoining the lobby and all that. But lovely stuff. Lovely, lovely stuff. And of course we'll have the 4 drivers in, because I will invite Tacticals in. Ferrari Constructors Champions with Raikkonen. Of course I know Raikkonen's going to be gutted with that mistake he made. But it's been a good driver's challenge. Pretty sure he'll still be happy. Andy Yuzkin the win and the fastest lap to boot. 6/10 in the end though from Raikkonen, who again made that great recovery to second place. Dano in 3rd. Destroyer in 4th, had a great race from 12th as well. Chronic Buds in 5th, also did good. Mando in 6th. Daniel in 7th. Hippo in 8th, battle with the leaders as well. Tacticals somehow managed to salvage 2 points in the end of that. MT the Mighty picking up the last point. A decent race from Fruit Boy as well. Didn't really see him do anything wrong, and that's always good in your first race. Moses and Timmer, Starzolf and Kabuki, and then unfortunately the 3 retirees, as I said, don't deserve it. Tedist, McCracken and Lincoln. And that is your final grid. Right, for the love of everything, I hope this works. In terms of the audio. Please. For the one time I want it to work. Right. Let's do a mic check before we go any further. So, is the box there to include the audio? Should be.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's go this one at a time. Right, Andy Yuskin.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Yay, we hear you.
Woo.
Raikkonen.
1, 2, 3. I caught a flea.
Interesting. Dano.
Hello.
Okay, we're good. And Tacticals.
Yes, mate.
Yay! The audio works! Woohoo!
Yeah.
Right, let's get things rolling. We'll start off with Dano in the McLaren P3. Another podium to add to your collection, because you've had a fair few since you joined us in France, I believe.
Yeah.
Solid race from yourself. Yeah, solid race from yourself. Of course, had the drama, of course, with the early safety car. People had to change their strategy on the fly as well. It seemed to be that your strategy could have worked, and maybe would have worked if it weren't for the pace that Raikkonen and Andy did on their fresher soft tyres. That almost no defense really with the pace that anyone could have on fresh softs towards the end of that race. But you tried your best. Didn't manage to keep up with them, but P3 for yourself, just fending off the Haas driver's attack as well in the last few laps. Were your tyres gone? Because it seemed like you were struggling towards the end of that race.
Yeah, the last 2 laps I really hit the cliff. Like the 3rd lap, I was like, these would actually make it quite well. Then the last 2 laps, they just went completely.
Yeah, certainly seems so. As I said, you've had a solid run in RSF1 since you joined us midway through. Was France, isn't it, your first race? Which you won, if I remember rightly.
First team. I had a few reserves where I got a 2nd and a 3rd, I think.
Yeah, and then but your first proper drive was in
Bowden,
was a win, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've had a good run in RSF1. Joining us next season?
Yeah, should be.
Should be. So first full season in the league. What are you expecting? Obviously, a lot of new things, new mechanics. Obviously, a new game entirely. So what are you expecting going forward?
It really depends how my pace is. If I'm up there on pace, I am hoping to really push for this top 4. But if I'm slightly off the pace for the tier that I'm in, definitely mid-table, like top 10.
Okay then. Any tier you're particularly aiming for? Because I know some people do that. Or just see where you put.
To be honest, at least.
All right, we shall see. But good luck to you.
Cheers.
And good luck next season. And thank you for the effort and entertainment.
Thank you.
All right, we head to 2nd place, Raikkonen. Now I know you're going to be gutted inside, but I've got to say straight up, a great recovery considering that spin at turn 2. I just caught the end of it with I think of Tedis as well got caught up in that. It just caught on the curb or something.
Back end just let away from me. I was pushing hard after Andy on the medium tyres and I just gave it too much into the corners. Basically, it was an unforced error, so I had to take the consequences with it.
Yeah, and obviously you found yourself in the Hippo train, I think it was. Yeah, with Timmer, Chronic, the 2 house drivers was in there as well. But you showed your fighting spirit. Head up and head down, I think it was. I think head up in terms of morale, but head down in terms of, right, just get on with it, see what I can do. And ended up being you managed to snatch Dano's 2nd place away from him on the last couple of laps. Just shows the type of driver, because many would have thrown in the towel, but you didn't, especially in the championship situation, which you knew what you had to do. Just seemed Andy was in too much control this race.
Well, I mean, anything could have happened in that race. Like, I didn't expect the safety car straight up and anything like that. But no, I realised that Andy was getting penalties, and so I was thinking maybe he's set up or whatever, he's not getting on with the track or anything. So that's what really spurred me on. Maybe like I could have snatched the win off him, but thanks to the back end of the racing point of Timmer holding me up, because he knows how to defend well, because obviously it's his prerogative to race his position. He's doing his own race, he doesn't have to let me pass, so I wasn't able to close the gap towards the closing stages. I deliberately left a set of softs in case anything happened, so I could do like a medium soft strategy, which kind of paid off, because like when I got behind the train and realised I couldn't pass it and it was going to cost me more time, I thought, right, go on the softs, do a long run on my first set of softs, and come out and do the 2nd set.
Yeah. As I said, you knew going into it was going to be difficult, because obviously from last season, Andy has good pace around Abu Dhabi, seems to like the track. And as I said, I know you're going to be gutted. I'm gutted for you. But I think if you look back on this race, if you consider, or this season as a whole, if you consider the fact going into this season, you hadn't won a race in, 2 seasons, I think it was? Or season and a half? And you've won 5 races, is it? And about 6 second places?
Yeah.
And I was thinking it's near on 300 points. That's a good season in my eye, regardless of the title, and just to be part of the championship fight as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an absolute great comeback for me, like this season. Towards the latter part of the season as well, where the results did start coming in and started closing in. But Andy had the lead at the start of it and managed to just keep me at bay and keep me at arm's length. So just want to say congratulations, Andy. Deserves the championship, fair and square, mate. Congrats. I can't take that away from you.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the competition. You know, it wouldn't be as exciting as it is without you.
Yeah. Okay.
No. They all hug each other now.
Be a little love
they were at
story.
each other's throats a couple of weeks ago. Oh, I was speaking to Tim. Anyway, next season, obviously Raikkonen, and obviously you got to obviously look forward to this. Obviously testing to do. You know, obviously being one of the admins of the league, you know the ins and outs. There's a lot of planning and hard work ahead of us once the game comes out.
Yep.
But I guess now it's just, well, are you resting? I need to know. Are you attending Race of Champions next Thursday? Please tell me you
need
are.
to confirm with that one yet. I don't know. Like I said to you, I could have to go away for training with my new job, and that could be Bedfordshire. But I am contemplating the idea that if I do have to go away on the Thursday, I will probably drive home. If I'm in Bedford, it's an easy drive home. It's about 2.5 hours.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I hope you join us on the grid. If not, we'll see you next season. Any particular tier you are looking for?
It is what it is at the end of the
F1?
day. It's a new game. It's a new mechanic.
F1?
No. It's a new game, it's a new mechanic. Anything can happen. I could awfully find pace, or I could awfully drop off. Who knows? Look at the seasons beforehand. From season 2 to 3. The amount of change there, because the mechanic completely changed.
For one, I'm excited. And I'm pretty sure you are as well.
Oh yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what
Even though we've got a lot of work to do.
see what names in the hat come up. I would like to see Andy in the same tier as me. It'd be good to have another challenge with him. But then there's also some old familiar faces as well. I know Mr. RSF1 Scotsman wants to take revenge on me for season 1 for stealing a podium off of him at USA through penalties.
Okay. That's good to hear. Anyway, yes, thank you for the season. Thank you for the challenge of the championship. As I said, I think looking back, you've had a very good season. Multiple wins. Yeah. Good luck next season.
I also just want to say, if it wasn't for my teammate MV Tactics, I probably wouldn't have had as much go for it. He's the first teammate that I've had for a whole season. It makes a difference to work together as well. But no, thank you.
We'll get to that. I was going to get to that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm thanking him on a personal level. You know, he has helped me in certain situations. You know, for example, Belgium. He gave me the win because he knew I was on the fast tyre anyway. So what's the point in fighting? Let's do it for the team.
Was it Monza as well? I think it was another one.
No, Monza, unfortunately, Ted first tipped me.
Oh yeah.
On the last lap.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of your season, well done. And I'll see you wherever you end up.
Yep, see you soon.
F1, as I said, F1.
See you in there, Brundle.
Alright, if you think I'm going to be in there. But well done. We head now to our race winner, Mr. Andy Yuzkin. And not only race winner, drivers champion in F5. As Raikkonen has said, very well deserved from yourself, Andy Yuzkin. You controlled that race, it seemed, from majority of this season, really. Had its ups and downs, of course, the season, the challenges, a few blips here and there, but I think overall, a very controlled season that you've had. But we'll go over this race first of all, because obviously you are the race winner.
Of course.
I knew going into it, you had the pace from last season. Everybody remembers that, and we're fearful, and you followed that up. I'd say about your pole lap as well. I was on board for that. That looked like 100%, effort to try and beat Lincoln's time. Only beaten by a couple of tenths as well. Was that 100%?
Well, I don't want to be like, every driver who says he can give more, but There was, I think, the second to last corner. I lost probably a tenth on that corner. So there was another tenth in there from that second to last corner. But other than that, it was completely perfect.
But not much more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you had to push for that pole position, which I think you've only had like 3 or 4 this season.
Yeah.
In terms of, I mean, you've always been, or most of the time, always been in Q3, but in terms of poles, not there. But you seem to get pole the most important time. Safety car early on, but controlled it on the strategy. But it was an interesting strategy. You decided to, because a few people in the chat were like, when you pitted for your second time, maybe sauce could go to the end, maybe not. But you were like, nah, I'm just going to go fresh sauce right at the end. Came out in 5th. A couple maybe would say have opened the door a little bit too easy, but no, if they're just fighting their own race, that's perfectly fine. But you done it. But that penalty and the last couple of laps, take us through that, because you were on 3, then you're on 6, so you had to find a bit more pace.
Yeah, so with regards to my strategy, it was kind of a strange one. I kind of messed up a little bit. I was going to plan on pitting lap 12 as usual, to medium soft, but I wanted to come out in clean air, so I waited for Dano and whoever was behind him to pit, but they didn't, and they ended up doing a 1 pit strategy. So I ended up messing up a little bit, going a bit too long on the mediums, losing a lot of time to Raikkonen. So that's the reason why my 2 soft stints were like so short. It's because I pitted late on the mediums. And anyway, on the last 2 laps, I'll be honest, I didn't really panic that at all. You know, half of me was thinking, oh, it doesn't matter for the championship, but the other half was like, oh, I still want to make this somewhat interesting to myself to win the race. And I was going very much slower to try not to get a second penalty. Once I did, I went all out, and you could see I gained some time, and that was like my full out pace. Before that, on the 3-second penalty, I wasn't really pushing that much, but once I got the penalty, I was just pushing, and I had the confidence in myself to gain that extra time.
Good stuff, good stuff. In terms of your season, as I said, ups and downs all throughout the season, what would you have said is your lowest point in terms of the season, your lowest race?
I think there's 2 races. I'm not quite sure if it's 2 races in a row, but I think 2 races in a row I bottled it Q3 and ended up in 10th qualifying. I don't know. I think it was Belgium and Italy next to each other. I have no idea. Let me go check.
Yes, they are. Belgium and
Yeah,
Italy are next to each
so
other. They are Belgium
think
and Monza.
Belgium and Monza, that was kind of like my lowest. Into it just those 2 races I wasn't. I think Italy I scored well, so it didn't matter. Or I don't quite remember. Belgium I did terribly.
8th Hungary, and no points in Belgium, and a 6th in Monza.
Yeah, so them 3 races were just horrible. Like Hungary, I couldn't do it in the wets. I think it was just horrible. Belgium bottled it. Italy bottled it in Q3. Italy, I kind of was more confident.
9th in France.
Yeah, that one. I was going to mention that one, but that was just like I know I'm bad at that track. I didn't bother practicing. I was like, you know what, I'll just get this out of the way, just go through the whole race, and then that's it. I'm never thinking about it ever again, because I hate driving on it. But those 3 races, Hungary, Belgium, Italy, I expected to do well, but I didn't, so that's why it's low.
Yeah. But I think it was six wins, including this one tonight, altogether, so great stuff. Race of Champions next Thursday, I believe you are pending for that. That's just any expectations for that? I mean, for the first race, you're going to be starting at the front, or at the front.
Well, I know that I mean, a lot of people in the chat would say, in the F5 Drivers Lounge, would say that I have like F3 pace in those tracks. So hopefully I do get my F3 pace, and hopefully Raikkonen does as well, so he can just destroy the other tiers.
Yeah, should be an interesting one. Next season, the same as Raikkonen. I believe, are you joining us back?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. What tier are we expecting for you? F1 for you?
Well, maybe. Okay, so if
It
it...
would be an interesting jump from F5 to F1, but you never know. New game and all.
Yeah, so if it continued to be 5 divisions, I have no idea what's going to happen. But if it was 5 divisions, I would hope, if the pace from this year continues, I would be put in F3, and maybe I would be more challenged. I would be more pushed to improve in order to get to the top spots. If I was in F4, that would be fine. I'd try to win the championship, to be honest, if I was in F4. And if I was pushed as far as F2, if the new mechanics serve me well, then I'd probably just aim for top 10.
Absolutely never know. What I'm going to say, and imagine if Chris was here as well, or whoever was commentating with me, they would agree as well. Had a very good season, and congrats. Enjoy your trophy next to your name on the Discord.
Thank you.
Because I know it's very important for very many people.
3 trophies now, let's go.
Yay. Obviously missed out on the constructors to Ferrari. Obviously a little mention about that. You had the lead of the constructors for a while. Just a really unfortunate race for McCracken in this one tonight. But yeah, a very good season overall as well. So well done, Andy.
Thank you.
But our constructors champion, we have one more person to interview and to get a little bit more from Raikkonen, is Ferrari. I mean, you both had, if you don't mind me saying, the worst possible luck in a race I think I've ever seen.
What, tonight?
Yeah.
Hey, it's racing.
I mean, let's start off with tacticals. Again, I'm going to take this the wrong way. How have you scraped 9th on that?
I don't know.
Because
I don't know.
Well, you got caught up. You got caught up in the first lap. That happened. Yeah, the first turn, and then got more damage. I think at the same turn when you just pitted or something like that.
Yep. Yeah, the first one. The first turn was just like a freaking buses were parked in front of me. I'd absolutely nowhere to go, and I thought, great, here we go, damage. Right, I'll go in. Came back out to mediums, changed my tyre strategy, and then I was fighting off, and I knew there was somebody behind me, but I've no idea who it was now, and so I've not clipped it. So I mean, it's the end of the season, so there's no point doing it. And me and Orphan just went sideways, and then I ended up thinking, I'm going great. Here we go again. Hit the barrier, some more wing damage, and I went right. I'll change my tyres again, and somehow just I don't know how I've done it. Managed to scrape P9. Don't know. No idea. I just thought I've got now to lose, so let's just get on with it and have some fun. But on a level, if it wasn't for AJ racing this season, I mean, I echo exactly what he said. He's been an absolutely great teammate, literally week in, week out. He had that little bit of spell when he was working and wasn't able to race. But he has mentored me really, really well for my first full season, so I tip my hat off to him. He's been a great teammate, guided me along with tyre strategies, race strategies, and all that kind of stuff for my first season. So if it wasn't for him, honestly, we wouldn't have won this F5 Constructors tonight. So AJ, you're a star, mate. Cheers, Paul.
No, thanks.
Oh. Yeah, I was just thinking as well, because Renault had the lead of the constructors for a long, long time this season. I think it was around about Spain when challengers started to appear and Racing Point and then yourselves. But especially these last 6 or 7 races, this last month and a half or so, where you and Raikkonen have been putting together really solid results. Podiums and wins, of course. Obviously yourself very close to the win on a couple of occasions, obviously Belgium being one, but it just shows the teamwork and is the word camaraderie?
Yeah.
Or
Comradeship.
similar.
Yeah.
Comradeship between you two, because you had that win and you gave it for Raikkonen's drivers championship as well. It just shows the teamwork between and the friendship that you two have, and it's great to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, the resurgence of Ferrari took the lead, I think, 2 races ago. Didn't do enough in Brazil, but I think, really, I mean, despite everything that was chucked at you both, let's be honest, got it done. Obviously, as I said, shame for McCracken to retire in that last
definitely
last race and so on. As I mentioned, all 3 that retired don't deserve it at all for this season. But yeah, Raikkonen, any final words on this?
No, it's been a good season for Division 5. It's been great racing for them all season. Fantastic season 4 for me as well. Good luck to everyone in season 5 who chooses to stay.
Most certainly. I hope everyone on this current grid of F5 returns next season. Yeah, Constructors Champions Ferrari and Drivers Champion Andy Yiskin in the Renault. Congrats to you all. I'll put in the Discord what I truly, you know, into words. I think it's better to put it on Discord. I think most people will hear, but I think everyone watching, everyone that has stayed, I mean, there's only 14 that stayed. Thank you for those that have stayed through this 20-30 minutes of congratulations and all that, but it's been a fantastic season. Better than any real life season I've ever watched. It really has been. I mean, every single driver deserves all the entertainment they bring, and it's been great. It really has. I imagine Chris, who's obviously gutted that he missed tonight, would have said the same as well. But fantastic. We've got to sign ourselves off from F5 division. They will be back. We don't know what day they'll be on. We don't know what any tiers will be on, but we'll be keen to see what set of drivers we're going to get again, and who's commentating on them. I don't even know that either. Well, we'll see. They've signed off in style, so thank you. We have 2 more races left to go in Abu Dhabi. 2 more seasons to finish up. We've got the F1 division to finish up tomorrow. We've got Blazer Guns and Hippo to do the finale of that, as well as maybe a few other drivers from maybe F2 and F3 maybe have a go, because that seems to be the way. And then we got the F4 finale with Musical Rocket and Lincoln, our last official race. And then we have the Race of Champions, where every driver from, well, all the top drivers from the tiers, all the divisions, will be racing together in 3 final races to decide who's the Race of Champions at the end of that. And I guess that they get another trophy. More trophies. 8th of July, officially, that will be on the Thursday. Details of that will be sent when we've got it all finalised. We're just piecing together a few things, and then we'll get that ready, and then we'll be done. And F1 2021 is on the horizon. Until then, though, take care once again. Thank you very much for everyone that's watching. Take care, good night, and see you next time.